Hi, welcome to Sweet Dreams Wellness Travel. I am Barbara Tuckett, your host and the owner of Sweet Dreams Travel. I am a wellness travel specialist. I believe that our mind, body, and spirit all play into our well-being, and I create travel experiences which improve your wellness so that you return from your vacation with more health, more happiness, and more connection, both with those you've traveled with and also with your destination. In these episodes, I explore travel and wellness experiences, giving you ideas and recommendations, and also interviewing people who have firsthand experience of the places where you may want to go next. Welcome, let's get started. The hills are alive with the beauty of Switzerland. So it totally was reminding me of the Sound of Music song. And I decided I could have burst into song for you, but I wasn't really sure how that would sound. So I'd rather have Julie Andrews sing it. Anyway, today we get to talk about the amazing country of Switzerland. And oh my gosh, when you imagine Switzerland, do you think of pristine, gorgeous lakes, beautiful mountain ranges, castles, Swiss watches, Swiss chocolate, cheese? These are just some of the many amazing reasons to visit Switzerland. And let me just tell you, since February, most of the COVID-19 restrictions in Switzerland have been lifted, including the requirement of mask wearing in public settings and a pre-arrival COVID test. The latest statistics that I've seen is that 69% of the country is vaccinated, and the number of cases has dropped significantly in recent months. So let's talk about Switzerland. I was in Switzerland in November. As you might remember, I was there to begin a river cruise. And I found that the city of Basel was so enchanting. It was just a wonderful way to start the cruise. It is set on the river's edge, and Basel is just such a fun mix of cobblestone streets and modern shops, and a lot of the cities in Switzerland are like this. I personally can't wait to get back to Switzerland, and I'm excited to share some of Switzerland with you today. So here are some fun facts to start us off. Switzerland has over 7,000 lakes. That's right. It's a great place to go for a swim. If you were there in warm summer months, it would be so fun to take a dip. The fresh water is so clean that the word is you can drink out of the lakes and rivers. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what they say. Lakes are only considered dirty if you can't see the bottom. So that's how clear and clean they are. Also, a second fact, Switzerland ranks really high in quality of life. They may have rather expensive cities to live in, but their Swiss citizens get a great value for their money. They just have such a good quality of life there. And the third fact that I want to share is that Switzerland is a world leader in recycling and waste management. This might not seem like that big of a deal, but it is becoming an increasingly bigger deal in our world today. The Swiss people recycle organic and recyclable waste and convert the rest to energy. So Switzerland provides almost all CO2-friendly electricity to its citizens. Nuclear power plants provide 39% of the electricity, and 56% is created by hydroelectric power plants. Hence, they have so many lakes and sources of water in their country. So, some reasons that you may want to visit Switzerland. One, of course, possibly the top reason is the scenery. So we're going to spend some time talking about the scenery for a minute. The Alps, of course. This is the most jaw-dropping scenery in all of Europe. And even if you're not skiing or hiking, which let me know if you want to go in the winter months, I can totally set you up with a ski trip to ski the Swiss Alps. And those are super fun. But anyway, a lot of people want to go in the warmer months. And so you can go hiking, or even if you don't get into very far into the mountains, you can just admire them from afar, and they are so breathtaking. Everywhere you turn, the scenery looks like something out of a Bond movie, right? Snow-covered peaks are rising high above you. And while you're there, of course, look for the Matterhorn. No, not the one in Disneyland, but that's the one that Disneyland is patterned after. And of course, the Matterhorn is the most iconic mountain in Switzerland. So other parts of the scenery, if you do get a chance, cable cars and gondola rides are two of the easiest ways to experience the Swiss Alps. Or of course, you could go hiking, and a hike is a fun way also. If you get to experience the Alps, then keep your eye out for the local wildlife, especially something called the chamois. And if you are watching the screen, then this top picture is the chamois. It's kind of like a goat, looks a little furrier, it's darker, has not very large horns. Anyway, it's a goat-like animal, and it is known for being a really agile climber against the rocky terrain. And a second animal, which is local to Switzerland, is the alpine ibex. And this one has bigger horns, and they are the male has the large horns, and they have ridges on them all the way up on the top of their heads. So those are a couple of really indigenous fun creatures to look out for. Now, another way to admire the scenery of the Alps is to take a helicopter ride. You can surround yourself with the soaring mountain peaks, including, so that the famous trio of mountain peaks are called the Eiger, the Monk, and the Jungfrau. And those are all in the Interlaken region. So you can fly close to the Matterhorn. You might even be able to catch a glimpse of some hikers. It is a famous, popular thing to hike the Matterhorn and try to reach the summit. Or if you wanted, you could even try your hand at skydiving in the foothills of the Alps. So many like really fun ways to interact with those great mountains. Let's talk about the sound of music. Not probably exactly what you're thinking, but there is an instrument that is one of the world's original wooden wind instruments, and it originates in Switzerland. It is called the Alp horn. Fittingly enough, the Alp horn had long been a tool that was originally used by the shepherds. They would call the cows in or the sheep in from the pastures, especially the cows would respond to it to come to the barn to be milked. And although the Alp horn had more or less lost its primary function in the mountains, like it's not totally used for that today, but it is this fun tourist attraction and symbol of Switzerland. And so it's really a fun instrument if you are curious or interested in local music, then you may want to listen for the Alp horn. All right. Switzerland is also known for its amazing castles. So spectacular. This picture of this one is just incredible. So although Switzerland is famous for it being neutral in a military sense, you also can see this because of how well the castles are preserved, because they have been neutral as a country ever since the inception of the country. And so they are not used as fighting castles. And so they are not all demolished. They have been very well preserved. And many of the castles date clear back to the medieval times. One of the best examples is shown in this picture. It's called the Chamois Castle. And it is located on a rock that is right on the edge of Lake Geneva. And this castle dates back to 1150. And it's one of the most visited castles in the country. So it literally, if you cannot see this picture, it sticks out into the water. It looks like it's on its own little floating peninsula right in the middle of the lake, or on the edge of the lake. So it's pretty cool. All right. Another thing that Switzerland is known for is watchmaking. Watchmaking came into existence in the 14th century, and the trade did not originate in Switzerland. In fact, it didn't reach Switzerland until much later. But in Geneva, the watchmakers set strict industry standards. And this resulted in some of the best made timepieces in the world. A watch is determined to be Swiss made, in quotes, by law only if it meets a very specific set of conditions. Three things. One, the mechanics of the watch have to be of Swiss origin. Two, the mechanics must be laid within the borders of the nation of Switzerland, so made in Switzerland. And three, the manufacturer carries out the final inspection of the watch in Switzerland. So pretty specific, I guess, conditions to have a Swiss watch. All right, let's talk about chocolate. For many people, Switzerland is associated with chocolate, not just any chocolate, really rich, smooth chocolate that just melts in your mouth. So the history kind of is in 1819, the first mechanized chocolate factory opened in the town of Vevey, and this kickstarted one of the nation's most beloved industries. But in 1867, there was a chocolatier named Daniel Peter. He decided to experiment by adding milk powder, which was made by his friend Henri Nestle. He added milk powder to his product in order to increase the sales. And in doing so, he created the world's first milk chocolate. So maybe that is why Switzerland has such a specialty of this amazing, wonderful, smooth, rich chocolate. All right, how about cheese? That's another amazing product. Doesn't get much better than eating warm, melty cheese on a cold winter's night. So in Switzerland, not just any cheese, but fondue is a staple dish that the Swiss indulge in throughout the winter months, and sometimes even on occasional cool summer evenings. Fondue is widespread and well-known throughout all of Switzerland. You'll find it all the way across the country, everywhere from rustic mountain chalets to big city restaurants. And it's not just about melted cheese, which cheese fondue is amazing, but it's also about melted chocolate, of course. And to the Swiss, fondue isn't about just dunking a little bit of bread into a pot of melted cheese. It has become kind of a ritual, and they have all kinds of customs and etiquette and things that are around their fondue. So if you are heading to Switzerland, definitely you'll have to try some of the fondue. Okay, let's talk about, just touch on really briefly how amazing it is to head through Switzerland on a Swiss river cruise. The magic of a Swiss river cruise is an ideal way to explore the Swiss countryside because the rivers just wind through the country. You can see lush scenery, snow-dusted peaks, and little cultural towns, and just glide peacefully down the Rhine River. The Rhine goes right through the country. You can sail through large cities like Basel, which is where I began my river cruise, but also stop to discover these little, small, quaint little towns along the way. You'll enjoy authentic Swiss cuisine, which is prepared fresh daily using local ingredients from every region that you pass through. And the cuisine really is, it becomes local depending on the specialty of the area. So that's really fun about a river cruise, is that you can try all different types. And of course, see the fantastic landscape of Switzerland transform right in front of you as you are floating down the river. Anyway, that's just my little side note of how amazing it is to take a river cruise through Switzerland. I'm not going to spend any more time on that, but let me know if you are interested in more information. Okay, another way to see Switzerland is on the Glacier Express. And this is a really super fun way to experience Switzerland. The Glacier Express is a train that connects the two major mountain resorts of Zermatt and St. Moritz, and it whisks passengers through the central Swiss Alps. So you get to go right through the Alps and visit all of these fun places along the way. The train cars have a glass ceiling in some areas, and it provides uninterrupted views of the surrounding countryside all along the journey. So I thought it would be fun to highlight a trip that some of my clients are going to be taking soon, beginning in June, and it's on the Glacier Express. Okay, so I am going to figure this out. That I was feeling kind of nervous about switching up this screen sharing. I am not super great at tech. So I'm really hoping that I can make this work. Okay, let's see. I think this is working. I think my screen is sharing with you. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to walk you through their trip and what they are going to do. I could put a similar trip together for you, or if you wanted to do something different, you would be totally welcome to. So basically, on day one, this is called the Grand Train Tour of Switzerland on the Glacier Express. So, sorry, I forgot. I was just going to jump into day one. I was getting so excited. But this talks about, in this tour, you get to explore the culture of this incredible country and its 4 languages, all the while taking in some spectacular countryside and staying in beautiful Swiss towns. It's a great opportunity to visit the very best of Switzerland on some of the most exciting scenic trains in Europe. Okay, so now let's jump in. Start with day one. On day one, you arrive in Zurich, and your private driver will be waiting to take you to the hotel. These clients are staying right in the heart of Zurich, a hotel called the Hotel Wellenberg. And I'm kind of scrolling through some of the pictures here of the hotel. It's just a beautiful, beautiful property. Very charming 4-star property and in a really good location. So you'll arrive in Zurich and check into the hotel. Then on day 2, on this day, your Grand Train Tour of Switzerland begins. And so you'll get on the Golden Pass line and you will travel to Interlaken through Lucerne. So you get to see a little bit of Lucerne on the way through and stop at Interlaken that night. So it's a 2-hour ride. We'll take you along the shores of crystal clear lakes, past romantic waterfalls, and over the magnificent Brunig mountain pass. After a short journey, you arrive in Interlaken, and this is between 2 lakes, and it's overlooked by those 3 mighty mountains. Remember that I talked about earlier, the Eiger, the Monk, and the Jungfrau mountains. And so you get to overnight right here in Interlaken. These clients are staying at the Carlton Europe Hotel Interlaken, which is so beautiful. You can see in the pictures, there is just a beautiful mountain range surrounding this lovely little hotel it's not even little, but it's just an amazing, setting. So they've got beautiful individually furnished rooms and suites, and they've got an outdoor swimming pool. They've got outdoor chess, and some games that you can play outside. It's a really fun property. All right, so the next night you also stay in Interlaken, and on this day you are going to do an excursion to the Jungfrau Joch. Now, please excuse my pronunciation of these Swiss names because I am not 100% sure that I'm pronouncing them correctly, but this Jungfrau Joch tour is the highest railway station in Europe. So it is way far up at the top of the Alps, and you get to see some breathtaking views of the Lech Glacier, the longest glacier in the Alps, and it's been classified as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So you get to go on this tour on this next day in Interlaken, and then you have another day in Interlaken, which is just basically on your own to explore and do whatever optional activities that you'd like. All right. The following day, you get back on the train and you are headed from Interlaken into Montreux. And so this is in the early evening. You get on the Golden Pass line again, past the shores of Lake Thun, and go through the Semin Valley. You go through the wild and romantic Pays d'en Haut with the scenic villages all along the way through a tunnel. And then you get to this amazing panoramic view of Lake Geneva and Montreux. And then you are staying in Montreux. The hotel where these clients are staying is called the Eden Palace au Lac Montreux. And so this is right on the shores of Lake Geneva. They have standard rooms, deluxe rooms, junior suites. They all have Wi-Fi. They all have amazing views of Lake Geneva and the Alps. Or they have city view rooms. So there are just some beautiful, beautiful rooms and decorated really, really nicely. This picture right here, you can see how it's situated just right directly on the shores of Lake Geneva. So super fun to get to stay at that resort. Then the next day you're up and you get to continue your rail journey. On this day, you are going from Montreux to Zermatt. And for the rest of the day, you can see the famous Matterhorn from the Zermatt village, or you can go on your own excursion and explore some more. You're pretty much just on your own, but you will overnight in Zermatt. And the hotel is called the Hotel Mirabeau Zermatt. It's really a tranquil little property located right at the base of the Zermatt Mountains and the main railway station. It's been managed by a second and third generation of the same family. They have wonderful meals and gastronomic. Oh, that's a hard word to say sometimes. With lots of restaurants and bars in the area, and beautiful wellness facilities. And of course, you get to see the beautiful Matterhorn in the distance. So this is showing just a few of the sites and pictures of the resort. All right. After Zermatt, then you get to hop on the world famous Glacier Express. So here's where you hop on the Glacier Express train, and you get to ride to St. Moritz. And you go over the Oberalp Pass through the impressive Rhine Gorge. And as you are on the Glacier Express, you have a 3-course lunch that is included. And then you get to arrive into St. Moritz. So you can see here is a picture of a tram ride and the train pulling into the station here in St. Moritz. So in St. Moritz, you will stay at the Hotel Schweizerhof. And this hotel is over 120 years old, 82 rooms. Many of them have a beautiful view of the mountains and the lake. It's open all year round. And it's really a nice access to everything in the area. You can see beautiful room, beautiful view. You could go biking in the area. It's just a gorgeous, gorgeous place. After St. Moritz, you will get on the Bernina Express rail and you will head from St. Moritz to Lugano. So this is one of the most impressive scenic rail journeys in Switzerland. You'll climb over the spectacular Bernina Pass, very, very high mountain range, and you'll pass the snow-covered mountain peaks and glaciers, and then come back down on your descent. Go over the viaducts and through tunnels. It's just like so amazing. It's just exactly what you would think it would be. And then you'll reach Tirano, a town called Tirano, which is actually an Italian town. That is the end of the Bernina line. And so then you'll change to the Bernina Express bus and takes you to Lugano. And then you will overnight in Lugano. So you can see a little bit of the scenery. Of course, one of those pictures is a winter picture. If you went in the middle of the summer, it wouldn't look quite that snowy all around you. So in Lugano, this hotel is kind of a little departure from some of the other hotels that we've been highlighting. The Hotel Lugano Dante is, it's a historical hotel, but it really has a modern vibe to it. So the lobby is kind of this urban lounge, and so it's got kind of this chic urban feel to it. but then they've got this green area, which isn't very large, but it's quite beautiful, and kind of this garden area that is in within the hotel itself. So it's really kind of so here's kind of showing what the green area looks like, the rooms, and what the lobby looks like. So it's kind of a combination of an urban feel, modern kind of feel, to a really historic place. So that's a fun hotel. From Lugano, then you the next day head to Lucerne. So you're going to board the Gotthard, oh, I probably said that totally wrong, Gotthard Panorama Express, and then you travel to the traditional heart of Switzerland. So you get to go along the Gotthard route, which has lots and lots of beautiful countryside, travel first class in the panorama carriage, which has those open ceilings and windows. And you'll have a travel guide along the way to kind of talk you through everything that you're going through. And you'll get to hear lots about the different sites and some of the mythology. And anyway, it's just really fun. Then once you get off of the train, then you get to go on a boat ride over Lake Lucerne, and you will stay overnight in Lucerne. So here is just a little bit of the scenery. If you have a chance to watch, you can see some gorgeous pictures and scenery along the way that I've kind of thrown in a few pictures. So in Lucerne, these clients decided, so they did not have to, but they decided that they wanted to extend a little bit in Lucerne, stay a few extra nights and do some extra touring and that type of thing. So none of the rest of this is going to be on a rail trip. It's just going to be what we've put together for them to sightsee and explore in Lucerne as a home base. So this hotel that they are staying in Lucerne is called the Hôtel des Balances in Lucerne. This is beautiful. It's just such a hospitable, warm, relaxed hotel, very charming. It just has an amazing look and feel to it. You can see it's right on the edge of the lake, Lake Lucerne. It's so beautiful. The rooms are beautiful. The hotel is beautiful. Just got this charming, charming feel to it. And that is where these clients will be staying for about 4 nights. Some of the sightseeing that they're going to be doing in the area, one day they will drive to Grindelwald, and they'll get to visit Interlaken, Jungfrau Joch again, but a more in-depth visit this time, not just kind of see it on their way through. They'll get to go on a cogwheel train ride and visit Grindelwald, Europe's highest railway station. They'll get to visit an ice palace, the Alpine Sensation, the Sphinx observation platform. So it's just a really more in-depth on this day visit of Grindelwald, the Grindelwald area. Then on another day, still based in Lucerne, they will do what's called Mount Pilatus with a lake cruise and a cable car. So Mount Pilatus is this beautiful mountain peak, and it's one of the most famous peaks in the Alps. You'll take a rotating gondola ride to the top of the mountain, hike to the rest of the summit, and then descend on the world's steepest track railway before returning to Lucerne by ferry. So that's pretty fun that you get to do all of those things, the gondola ride and hiking, a little bit of hiking, and then come back on the steep railway and then ferry back over to Lucerne. They also will visit the picturesque town of Kriens, which is at the foot of Mount Pilatus, take the panoramic gondolas and cable cars to reach the top and get to see these spectacular views. They can stop for a bite to eat or hike to the summit. And so it's just amazing, just really amazing, this beautiful tour that they get to take. And you can see some of the pictures of the sites that they will see with the ferry coming back across, and back to Lucerne. Then another day, they are going to do a Mount First activity. And this includes a panoramic drive to the Bernese Oberland, a short visit of Interlaken, an aerial cable car ride in Grindelwald, a visit to the Suspension Bridge Cliff Walk, a ride on a gigantic zip line, a downhill drive with a mountain cart, and a trotty bike scooter ride to Grindelwald. So much is included in this tour. Also, this will take all day long for them. Once they are finished with their Lucerne add-on to their trip, then they will have a private driver that will take them from Lucerne back to Zurich. They will stay one night in Zurich at the Hotel Schweizerhof, Zurich. This is a beautiful hotel right across from the main train station. It's really close to where you enter like these exclusive shops and banks and things like that in Zurich. So it's really in a fun area, but it's a historical hotel. So it's right on the banks of the river Limmat, and it's just like really fun, a really fun location. Some of the pictures of the Hotel Schweizerhof. It looks amazing. So one fun thing about heading to Europe is that most of the resorts and hotels that you stay in have breakfast included. And so that is one meal that is taken care of, and it's wonderful, and you don't have to worry about figuring out what you're going to eat for breakfast every day. You can just get your breakfast already included that morning. So I have loved sharing some Switzerland ideas with you, and hopefully you also enjoyed this and had a good time enjoying Switzerland with me. So let me know if you are ready to plan a trip to Switzerland or anywhere else. I'm happy to help you out. Thanks a lot. Thanks for joining me today. If you've enjoyed this episode, please like, share, subscribe, or leave a review. If you'd like to contact me about a vacation, the best way is to visit my website, sweetdreamstravel.net. To connect on social media, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, or LinkedIn. See you next time.